Recently, I was building Lego with my 4-year-old son when he wandered outside, took a couple breaths, and walked right back in. I needed a break, he announced, and resumed building. I was proud, but a little surprised. I had done something similar the day before, but not nearly so calmly. One kid was distraught over a missing but critical Lego. Another one was complaining about dinner. Dogs were barking. I felt like my head was going to explode, so I stepped outside, took a couple breaths, came in and said, sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, it helps to take a break. I found the Lego. Miraculously, my son's takeaway was not that mom was about to lose it over said Lego, but the whole taking a break thing, which got me thinking about the power of taking a break in little ways like that and on a larger scale. I'm Deanna, and here on the Not So Wicked Stepmother, I share about my life as a mom and stepmom. So many of us are navigating these roles. I don't think there's a roadmap, but I do think we can learn from each other's experiences. So several months ago, I was faced with the unexpected. And I've been thinking a lot about how we show up for our families when we're managing crisis or uncertainty. How do we make kids feel safe when we're scared? As step-parents, do we adjust our role if we're going through a difficult time personally? There are events and situations that demand your focus, leaving less time and energy for everything else. In these times, it can be tempting to push through. It can also be tempting to crawl under the covers and hide. But I think if we can have the courage to face what's in front of us and say, this is the priority for this season, we have a much better chance at being intentional with whatever we have left to give. And that means looking at some aspects of life and saying, I need to take a break. Okay, but what can you actually take a break from? Most responsibilities can't be eliminated completely, but we can look at ways in life to simplify. One way I've heard this put is by author Kendra Adachi as a decide once list. I experimented with it and found it to be extremely helpful. For example, you could decide once to say no to any new invitations this month. Parties, dinners, activities, all no. Depending on your work, you may be able to decide once not to take on any new clients or projects for a while. Or if a particular seasonal tradition is bringing up dread instead of joy, you can skip it. To me, the beauty of this is you're taking something off of your plate, but not forever. Many of the optional things in life that we can theoretically take a break from are things we enjoy. But even something that normally fills your cup can feel stressful when you have less time or energy. By taking a break, you have something to look forward to. This was just one of many helpful ideas in Kendra Adachi's books, so I've linked them below in case you want to check them out. When I was looking at ways to simplify, one of the things I decided to take a break from was creating content. Rather than make half-hearted attempts to connect with you here, I made the active choice to take a break. And here's the cool thing about taking a break. You come back with a fresh perspective. You're giving yourself permission to prioritize instead of just feeling like you're failing. By stepping away from the overwhelm, things can get clearer. Just like the missing Lego, what matters to you comes into focus. When you choose to take a break from something you care about, you're choosing to give it the attention it deserves when you have more capacity. As far as your relationship with your stepkids, you may choose to lean in or back off depending on your current circumstances. For me, the past few months have been about spending more time with my family and taking on fewer commitments. But there have been times when it was the opposite, when what I needed was to stretch creatively. Spend some time considering what you actually need to be the most present, patient parent you can be. If it's 24 hours alone in a hotel with no one asking you for anything, that may not be possible, but you are likely to find some things to delegate or eliminate for a little while. It's worth noting, for the sake of your marriage, this goes both ways. If you're in a tough season, you're likely to both be impacted. Make space for connection and help each other out. Make a plan together and be honest about your limitations. It's better to ask for help than to be pushed over the edge by a missing Lego. Remember, no one can give 100% all the time. We set ourselves up for disappointment and burnout when we try to. I enjoy baking and volunteering for school events, but sometimes the cookies come from a box and I don't have it in me. I think that's true for most of us, but it can be hard to admit. Trying to do it all has been a lifelong struggle for me. When I was a little girl, I wanted to do all the things. Except softball. I got hit in the face once, and that was enough to let that one go. But I remember my baton teacher, Kathy, telling me I needed to make some choices. She said if I wanted to get very good at baton, I needed to give something up and spend more time on that. I thought about it and decided to enter the school talent show twirling 2 batons while dancing on point to Paula Abdul's Blowing Kisses in the Wind. I'm not kidding. My mom has the video evidence. Eventually, I gave up twirling baton, but I continued to try to do all the things. If I'm honest, the times in life when I've stopped trying to do too much are usually when I'm physically unable to. So if the idea of taking a break from anything is hard for you, I understand. Sometimes there are trade-offs and choices to make. Try putting down a baton. Take a break. You might find life is a little more manageable. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button to keep in touch. See you next week.